So last week, the finale of Celebrity Big Brother 3 took place, and it felt pretty different from any other Big Brother finale. Instead of a 2-hour live show like we're used to, it was only an hour long. Now, this might not seem that bad because most episodes of Big Brother are an hour long, and in the past there have been finales of the regular show that have been an hour long. But for anyone that watched this finale, something felt off about it. Due to Celebrity Big Brother being a spin-off that takes place with a much smaller schedule, it has led to many strange decisions being made in the show's past. So many of them made an entire video about them that you can see in the description below. If you want to hear more about everything that the show has done before this finale, you can check that out. As for this one, we're going to look into what makes it different from every other past finale to see what made it feel so weird. The first major change from past seasons of Celebrity Big Brother is that the finale starts at the final 3. This is actually a very good change to the show, as the biggest issue that Celebrity Big Brother had in the past was that the finale was final 5, and it totally screwed up the ending of the show, which I talk about at length in my other video. This change to go to a final 3 made it more in line with the main version. It's unclear if this was done just because Chris Kattan quit in the middle of the season, which left them with one less person, but at the end of the day, for this finale, that's not super important. What is important is that it was a final 3, which is actually a good thing, and I'll give the producers props for doing that. Now, in theory, this should fix most of the issues with the ending of the show. Reality, however, is often disappointing. The issue for this format of the episode comes in with the length of the finale. While you would think that having 2 less people would mean that it would still work with an hour less, it really doesn't in this case. This is due to how the content of the episodes are structured. In past Celebrity Big Brother seasons, they would use the first hour to essentially air a regular episode of Big Brother with confessionals and everything you would expect from an episode. This would then be capped off with the elimination of the person that would get 5th place. Then, because in the older seasons they had the brilliant idea to make the Final 4 HOH the last one, they would get right into the final HOH with an entire hour left in the show. In Season 3, the finale did not get into the final challenge until about 8 minutes into the runtime. So that means that something had to get cut. So the producers said, hey, we got 8 minutes that we don't have. Let's look at all the things that took around 8 minutes in the show. And they looked at the past seasons and they said, oh, I found something. I found something that takes 8 minutes. And no one will care about this, right? Yeah, let's get rid of the jury questioning phase. Now, this sounds like a joke because no one in their right mind would take away the jury questioning phase in a show where the jury picks the winner. But it happened. And that's the world that we live in. So this is a pretty bad decision. And I don't know what it is with the producers of the show where they feel the need to get rid of parts of the endgame for no reason other than time crunch, but they seem to fall into this every season. This is especially frustrating because they obviously made an effort this time to fix some of the issues with their schedule. They added in 2 more episodes this season, which likely allowed the finale to be closer to a normal one. The problem is that this time they screwed up the end of the game, especially the jury portioning of it. I don't know why, but they did. It's like you look at the game and you're like, okay, we're going to fix everything up until then and then. And the most important, the most crucial part of the game, where the jury finally gets to talk and ask questions to the contestants. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that entirely because clearly we don't need that. Some of you may be thinking about how earlier I said that the finale in regular Big Brother used to be an hour as well. And if it worked back then, why doesn't it work in this season? Well, the main difference is that in those previous seasons where it was an hour long, the final 3 elimination took place in a separate episode, which means that they didn't have to deal with the entire challenge for the HOH and elimination in this one. So you had an extra 22 minutes in the finale to do whatever the hell they wanted that we didn't get to have in this season. To show what they did, we're going to take a look at Big Brother 3. So spoilers for that season if you haven't seen it already, even though it's been out for like 20 years. These 2 seasons actually share a lot in common. It's kind of eerie, like we're in some sort of a time loop, something about time being a flat circle. I don't know. But the biggest difference between the show back then and now is that instead of contestants coming in live and doing the entire show live for the finale, they used to come in for a pre-recorded session that wasn't live, where they would talk to each other about the game and the players. To its credit, the regular version of the show still does this. They just do it at the Final 4 because now the Final 3 is part of the live finale. What is important about this is that it allows for the contestants to talk to each other about how they feel about the game in an environment where everyone is equal. In contrast, in Celebrity Big Brother, Julie is leading the entire discussion, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there's so little time in the live finale, and it gets bogged down even more by the fact that there are some questions that aren't even relevant to the final two, that it makes this discussion a lot worse than it was in previous seasons. In regular Big Brother, they can do this for however long they want, which means that every aspect of the final two is discussed. What we see is just what is edited down and deemed as the most important content. In Big Brother 3, this then transitions into a jury questioning phase, where the jury is allowed to have a pretty open conversation with the contestants. In earlier seasons, it really feels like the contestants are able to put everything on the table and address whatever the jury wants them to. In modern Big Brother, the jury gets to ask pretty basic questions and generally impersonal ones. This was even furthered in this season of Celebrity, where the contestants only got about a minute and a half to talk about what they did in the game. There was no interaction with the jury. It was just them talking to them for a minute and a half. This is especially bad in this case because the jury has a lot of grievances with the two finalists and could have used an opportunity to address the issues that they had with the final two. The strangest part about this to me is that usually you cut content when you don't think it'll be entertaining or important to the story. But I feel like the jury questioning the final two about how they hate the final two would have been great television. But the producers just said, nah, we're not going to let anyone see that. And we didn't get it. We didn't get it. And honestly, if anything would have been entertaining about this finale, it would have been that confrontation. So what we get are questions like, hey Carson, are you going to be friends with Shayna? Is she going to accept your apology? When what we should be getting is, hey Carson, you seem really upset with the final two. Why don't you ask them about it, and then they can tell you why they said what they did. But we don't get any of that. All of these issues are made worse when considering the fact that this jury was not sequestered. This is part of the reason that this season and this finale was so similar to that of Season 3 of the regular show. In Season 3 of the show, Danielle Race and Jason Guy were a pretty unstoppable duo up until the end of the game, where neither won final HOH and Jason got eliminated. The audience got to watch this unlikely duo grow and work together and try to make sure that they would be sitting in the final two together. This also meant that the people that were voted out got to watch all of the mean things that Danielle said about them in her confessionals.
My personal problem is I don't like what Danielle did as far as the way she spoke about Roddy. I mean, I have a huge problem with that.
Roddy is the devil.
I just think that calling someone the devil is disgusting.
I think Josh sums up best what it was like for the contestants of Season 3.
The way I feel about Danielle is that while every person was in this house, they loved her until they got off and they saw what they did to her in the house. That is brilliant, and single-handedly controlling people's exit from the house, and to how loyal she was to Jason, and that was the only person she ever said she would be loyal to.
What this meant was that despite audiences and the CBS producers loving Danielle and her confessionals, the house guests were not as pleased. This led to Lisa sweeping her in the final two, with the only dissenting vote being Jason, who stayed loyal to her. That's not to say that Lisa played a bad game or anything. She actually played a pretty good thing, but it's certainly not the outcome that most people watching the show wanted to see, or what CBS wanted to see. CBS realized this was an issue because if people couldn't give the kind of confessionals that Danielle did, then the show would be less interesting. Because obviously if you're going to be mean to the players and they see you be mean, they're not going to vote for you at the end because they're going to be like, oh, I don't like this person. So from Season 4 on, Big Brother would have a sequestered jury, which seemed to fix all of these issues. If you're watching along with this season of Celebrity Big Brother, you might be able to see where I'm going with this. This season, more than any previous season, has been influenced by the contestants being able to see what comments have been made by the players, especially the final two. It was no secret that the jury was not the biggest fans with their finalists, especially with Todrick. Many contestants who seemed to have a great relationship with him in the game, or even just a mutual respect for him, pulled a 180 by finale night. Here is a clip of Todd right after he was eliminated.
All right, Todd, just now, when I gave you the floor, you said to Todrick, you played the best game.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you really mean that?
Oh, yeah.
Or you weren't trying to work for a vote?
No.
Why do you think he played better than...
Because Todrick had friends with everybody, made some enemies, but then made friends, and they made enemies, made friends again. He worked everyone in the whole house. He worked the house. And that's the best way to win this game from what I watched when I watched it. He did a great job working the house.
And here's a clip of Todd 2 days later on finale night casting his vote.
Everything was great up until I saw the live feeds, and I just think that God bless you guys, and I hope you realize that playing this game and winning is definitely doing it a good way and not talking bad about people that are already gone.
Thank you, Todd.
Now, it's not unheard of for people to change their minds on players after being eliminated, but I think it's pretty clear here that the reason that him and many other people had the opinion that they had was because of seeing what Todrick said in the House. So when the votes were read and it was a sweep for Misha, other than one vote from Todrick's ally, who got third place and stayed loyal to him, goddamn, we're in a time loop. Hardly anyone was surprised. It was impossible to know which one of them would have won, and opinions on Todrick were pretty mixed because of some of the things that he said in the House. But it was pretty clear that CBS, at least, thought that he deserved to win based on the edit that he got, especially in the finale. They essentially made it out that Misha would not have been able to do anything without him and that he was like the greatest player that has ever played Celebrity Big Brother. So maybe Todrick losing this time, like Danielle losing, will spark CBS to sequester the jury for season 4 if the show gets a season 4. Sure, it may be difficult to negotiate it with the celebrities, but there is a lot that they can do, and considering that half of the cast was still in the game a week before finale, I don't think that it's that big of a stretch to say, hey, all of you guys got to sign on, and if you get voted out, you are forced to live in a really nice house where you will get to drink and eat whatever you want, and you won't have to worry about any of the real world, and you can just relax and chill out. God, that sounds so horrible. I can't even imagine having to do that. Oh my God. For like 2 weeks, I'd have to sit in a house? No! Like, no one in the right mind would be that upset about that. Like, you're already signing on for a show for 30 days. It's not like it's the end of the world if you sign on for a show for 30 days and you actually have to be on the show for 30 days. And the crazy thing about this finale was all they had to do was make the show 90 minutes. If they made the show 90 minutes long, they would have had plenty of time to add in the jury questioning phase, or they could have just done a pre-recorded jury questioning phase before and then edited it down to whatever they felt necessary. At least then, the game integrity wouldn't have been compromised. But the way that it stands now, it's like, yeah, these people are really mad at me. I don't know that they're mad at me, so I'm just going to talk for a minute and a half and then hope that whatever I say is going to do anything. But in everyone else's minds, they're like, yeah, nothing that you're going to say, dude, is going to change our mind. We all know that we're not voting for you. We're voting for Misha. Suck it up, Todrick. That's basically what they said to him. And it blows my mind that CBS clearly knew. They obviously knew that people didn't like Todrick. And yet they edited him, especially in the finale, to be like, yeah, Todrick is a great player and he would have dominated. He should have won. And you see Todd earlier in the game. He's like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Todrick. And the thing is, Julie Chen's like, no, bro, calm down. You can't say that you're going to vote for Todd. You got to wait till finale night. And Todd's like, there's no way that I'm not voting for Todrick because he played the best game. And Julie's like, nah, man, you can't say that. And he's like, no, I swear I'm voting for Todrick. And that didn't happen. He didn't vote for Todrick. So I don't know what they'll do in the future. I just hope that they get some sort of jury questioning back because it's tough. It's tough to make a short season of a longer show. But they had something there. They were so close. They were so close to nailing what is the format of Celebrity Big Brother because it can't be the original show. It can't be Big Brother. But it could have been better than what we got. And they showed promise, but then they just walk it back with these weird decisions. So hopefully in the future, they think about what happened here and some of these changes get happen. I don't think we're ever going to get a sequestered jury for Celebrity Big Brother. It's just not really likely that they're going to even do that or try to do that. But you can at least nail down the regular parts of the game and make sure that that's good. Because when you start losing game integrity, then it's hard to like have these people that are fighting for it. You know, you got to at least give them a chance to explain themselves. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that it was fine? Did you hate the finale? Did you like the finale? Am I crazy? Am I just rambling on about Celebrity Big Brother for more than I should? Probably, but it is what it is. I've already done the video. So if you liked it, like it down below, comment, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content. I'm not talking about Celebrity Big Brother next week. We're talking about Survivor. It'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna ring in the new season. So I've been Alex. Keep it real.
Final thoughts is, I don't know who I'm giving my vote to yet. I have a feeling who's going to be on top, but, you know, I promised me shit, but unfortunately, I think Todrick played a better game, so he's probably going to get my vote, my jury vote. So.
You're not supposed to say that now.
Oh,
And they
sorry.
still get to make a speech. You never know.